Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. As you are all aware, we do have a lot of players on our current agenda. I think Solskjaer has got around 5 or 6 players, who would like to recommend into the football club next year. Now I do believe that he is making plans for the January transfer window. I think he has been assured that he will be given money to spend next year, and I do believe we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. So I think we'll look to sign at least 1 or 2 players in January, but we'll do the vast majority of it next summer. And I do believe we're probably orchestrating on spending a substantial amount next year. I think at an estimated guess we'll spend from maybe 200 to 250 million, or maybe 250 to 300 million pounds recruiting more players. But I did say anyway, our recruitment has definitely got to improve, because obviously our recruitment has been very, very poor for several years, and it's very imperative next year that we do get the right caliber players to the football club, so we can be back to being a competitive elite level football club, and also we can be back to being so we can, be future title contenders. We did spend a substantial amount during the course of the summer. Obviously, we spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire, and they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers. But next year, these deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. So I think, we've got to recommend at least one midfielder in, because that's one of the priority areas where Man United need to strengthen up, because they have got a lot of element of concerns about our midfield. Some people believe that we need 2 midfielders, but we definitely need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. We also need a striker. At least one striker, someone who can come in that can score goals, someone who can be more effective in the box, and someone, who can create chances. And I think, we've done well recently in that, we've looked better in that attacking line, because recently, Rashford's rejuvenated himself. Martial's done very, very good, since he come back from injury. Obviously, he does add more inspiration in the attacking third of the pitch, and he does help the likes of Daniel James and Marcus Rashford. But obviously, for the vast majority of this season, we've looked very exposed in that attacking line. Following the departures of Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. So, like I mentioned, we need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. But yeah, so there's a lot of players on our agenda, who we obviously we could go in for next year, like I mentioned. I've been recently giving you an updates on what players are linked with Man United. So obviously I updated you, didn't I, about Jadon Sancho this morning. Obviously, I've also recently updated you about Erling Haaland. Now, reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has instructed a personal scout to watch Erling Haaland. I think Solskjaer is keen on recommending him in to the football club. He has proven himself this season for Red Bull Salzburg, and he has been a prolific goal scorer this season. He has scored 26 goals in 18 games in all competitions, so he has done really, really well. I think he scored around 7 Champions League goals. I think the beneficial thing about recommending Erling Haaland in is that the beneficial thing about recommending him is that he's played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance, so I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on reuniting with a player. He did play under Solskjaer during his short period with Mould. He is only 19 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him, and he obviously would also fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly. I think he probably would cost the club a substantial amount. I think we'd probably have to pay in the excess of maybe around £85 million to recommend him in. But he probably, if he came to Man United, he'd replicate, what he has been doing with Red Bull Salzburg. I don't think he's been at Red Bull Salzburg, too long. The news regarding Jadon Sancho, as he did update you this morning, reportedly now, it's been coming out of the mainstream media, at least in the last couple of days, and it did say, we are regarded as the favourites to sign Jadon Sancho. because recent reports have said that Jadon Sancho does want to leave Borussia Dortmund. He's very, very imminent. If he does leave, he will leave next summer. So it's very, I'm very, very sceptical about, as you know, getting him in January. You know, there isn't only Man United in for Jadon Sancho. You know, these are quite a few other clubs in for him. You know, Liverpool have been interested. PSG and Real Madrid are also in for him. But obviously, you know, we've been long admirers of Jadon Sancho. You know, we've been in for him for quite a long time now. I think we've been in for him at least almost a year. We've been in for him. You know, we was in for him during the course of the summer. You know, we identified him as our top priority target back in January. But obviously, you know, we didn't get him with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. And I did put into the equation anyway, you know, when you're not in a Champions League football and that, it's going to be harder to attract players to the elite level. So this is probably the explanation why we didn't get all the players that I wanted to recommend in during the course of the summer. And it's probably, you know, why we didn't address all the problematic areas. But Jadon Sancho, in my own perception on it, I think, you know, he would be the right calibre player for Manchester United. He's primarily a right winger, but you can also play him centrally. And I think the most beneficial thing is as well, he's already had experience of playing in Manchester, because don't forget, he did serve a couple of years with Man City. But like I said, you know, he left Man City because he didn't get assured first team opportunities at Man City. So this is why he went to Dortmund. Dortmund basically, you know, got Jadon Sancho for next to no. You know, they only paid around £7 or £8 million him, but reflects on his impressive performances in the couple of years he's been with Dortmund. His valuation obviously, you know, has persistently grown. He's still under contract with Dortmund, I think, until 2022. He is only 19 years of age, but again, he's going to cost Man United a substantial amount. I think we'll probably have to pay in the excess of around £100 million for the player. But maybe, you know, next year, maybe we should, you know, try something different. You know, maybe we should orchestrate on being sensible over our recruitment, because I did say that, you know, during the course of the summer, because like I've said to you on numerous occasions, always spending big on players and getting them Glasgow players doesn't always, you know, guarantee you success. And, you know, we're obviously, you know, known for, you know, overpaying for players in recent years, as I think you all know. But yeah, I'd love Jadon Sancho at Man United, because I think, you know, he'd blend in very, very well in our attacking line, you know, with the likes of Daniel James, Anthony Martial, and Marcus Rashford. So yeah, I'd love him to come in. I think it's also very, very imminent that we're going to sign Mario Mandzukic next year. I think that's very, very imminent. That's going to happen. I think he's actually going to be our first signing in January, and our fourth signing overall under the Mulligan and Solskjaer era. Don't forget, you know, we inquired about getting Mario Mandzukic during the course of the summer transfer window, but obviously, no, we didn't end up, you know, getting him. Recent reports have indicated out saying that Mario Mandzukic has made a decision, and reportedly his preference is to join Manchester United in January. So he wants to join the club in January, but recent reports have emerged out saying that if we can reach an informal agreement with Juventus before January, Mario Mandzukic, you know, could join the club next month. He could start training there with the club next month. The good thing is he is a cheaper solution. Is Mario Mandzukic. I think we'll probably just have to pay just over £10 million to recommend him in. I think it did say, you know, we was willing to hand him around an 18-month contract. I'm very sceptical about us handing him a long-term contract, obviously regarding his age, because, you know, Mario Mandzukic is 33 years of age. You can only say he's got a couple of years left in his footballing career. But Mario Mandzukic has served his 2 requirements at Juventus anywhere, you know, because he hasn't played a single minute under Maurizio Sarri's guidance, you know, since he got recommended in during the summer. But I think, you know, he's had a good career overall, and I think at Man United he can replicate, you know, what he has done with Juventus. Because for Juventus, I think he's played around 162 games and he has scored 44 goals. But yeah, I think, you know, we're definitely going to sign him. Obviously, you know, we have got quite a few midfielders on our agenda, like I mentioned. I recently, you know, give you the news regarding Christian Eriksen, you know, didn't I? Again, I think he would be the right calibre player for Manchester United, would Christian Eriksen. He's got good physical attributes, can score goals, can create chances, and he's proven this with Tottenham, in the 6 years or so he's been there. I think now he's into his 7th season as a Tottenham player. He is predominantly an attacking midfielder. He is 27 years of age. Christian Eriksen comes to an end of his current contract term at the end of the season. So Tottenham know from their perspective how much of an imperative player that Christian Eriksen is. But, they probably still believe that he wants to leave, like he revealed at the beginning of the summer. So I think Tottenham, from their perspective, believe it will be more beneficial to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free transfer. But yeah, we could go in for Christian Eriksen in January, because recent reports did say, we'd held negotiations, with Christian Eriksen regarding a January transfer. But yeah, I'd love him at Manchester United, definitely. But the main factor behind why we pulled out of the race for Christian Eriksen towards the back end of the window, because we do believe his preference was to make a move to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid could still possibly reignite their interest in Christian Eriksen next year. We could also possibly, reignite our interest in Bruno Fernandes in January, because don't forget, during the course of the summer, he was one of our main priority targets, was Bruno Fernandes. So like I said, there is a lot of players on our agenda. I think Solskjaer, does want to continue the policy anywhere of recruiting young British players, like he did do during the course of the summer. And in that aspect, he does replicate Alex Ferguson, because don't forget, Ferguson had developed a lot of young players. But I think we need anywhere at least 5 to 6 more signings, maybe even more, if we are to back, where we do currently want to be. I've been really happy, recently though. I've been really happy, recently. Because I think, we have really rejuvenated ourselves, and I have actually, seen a variety of changes in the last 6 games or so. I think, prior to the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth, disregard that, I think, since the draw against Liverpool, we have really rejuvenated ourselves. Certain players have stepped up to the plate. We have showed them a lot of tactical flexibility. Because obviously, for the vast majority of this season, a lot of Manchester United fans, including me, obviously, have been criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics, because for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer has been tactically naive. Obviously, some of his substitutions have been questionable. But, due to our inconsistency for the vast majority of the season, obviously, Solskjaer, is accountable for some of that. But I think, everyone does need to take the blame as well. I think, a lot of the blame does stem from the board. And like I've said on numerous occasions, I think we need to get rid of our current board and recommend a new board in. Because our board have been, a liability several years, like I mentioned. The board also didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough during the course of the summer. I've also got a lot of element of concerns about Ed Woodward. Not only recently, I've had them element of concerns for years, and I think he replicates the board, and I think, he needs to be out of the football club. I still believe these players at Manchester United that do need to be moved on. So I think, we need to get rid of another 4 or 5 players next year. Despite the fact, though, a lot of players have left now since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arriving. But definitely, these 2 players here at the football club that are no longer good enough to represent the football club. I did definitely say, didn't I? I did definitely say, didn't I? One of the structural changes that we do need to see at the football club is getting a new director of footballing. And don't forget, during the course of the summer, we was in search for a new director of football and that. And I did say, if we are to recommend one in now or in the future, then we need to recommend someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who obviously would be reliable to oversee our transfer business, and someone who's obviously got the right philosophy for the club, so they can recruit the right players to Manchester United. During the course of the summer, the likes of Ferdinand, Evra, Darren Fletcher were linked with the role. Obviously, there was speculation about Edwin van der Sar the other week. Obviously, the other week I updated you about Ralph Ragnick. and there was talks about him possibly replacing Solskjaer or taking, the vacant director's role at Man United. He's currently head of recruitment. He's head of sport and development at Red Bull. But he actually said, we'd travelled to Germany, to for this meeting with Ralph Ragnick. Obviously, Ed Woodward had scheduled the meeting. But I think, we definitely need a director of football. I think what's from Solskjaer's perception, he actually, said during the international break that he feels as though that Man United don't need a director of football. So he's actually, defending the club's current structure. This is, from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's perception. But anyway, even though we have rejuvenated ourselves recently, it still doesn't really change my perception regarding Solskjaer. I still don't think he is the long-term future for Manchester United. He still insists he's the right man to elevate Manchester United forward. Also, Ed Woodward not too long ago had revealed that, Solskjaer's job is safe at the football club. Obviously, we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for over 30 years. But, recently, we have done really, really well. The performances have been good. We've been scoring more goals. Recently, we've been creating more chances. So I have been very, very delighted about that. Also, just to give you an update on as well, the majority of our squad had flown out to Dubai for warm weather training camp, just to confirm that. But Solskjaer didn't go, so Solskjaer has remained in England. He has remained in England as Solskjaer. Solskjaer has remained in England, so just wanted to give you an update on that. But now, as it stands at the moment, we are sitting 7th in the Premier League. Obviously we got up to 7th, with that 3-1 win against Brighton before the international break. And that was a very, very good performance from Man United. And I think Solskjaer gave his overarching view on the game. And he's analysed it. And I think, he thinks it's our best performance of the season in the league. But Solskjaer did admit anywhere that our league form does need to improve, because we've seemed to be doing better in the cup games, because I think we've won as many games in the cup than we have in the league, or we've actually won more games in the cup, or we've won the same amount, whatever. But definitely the league form does need to improve. But before the win against Brighton, we were sitting 14th in the league. But we've won 4 games this season in the league. We've drawn 4 and we've lost 4. So we've registered 16 points from a possible 36. We still know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. We're only 12 games into the season. There is still a lot of twists and turns to come. I think we're sitting around 18 points from top behind Liverpool. I think we're around 9 points behind top 4. And I've actually fully disregarded the top 4, but there's obviously still a possibility, chance we can get it anyway. It's just going to be hard for us to do that. I did say it was very imperative that we did get into the top 4 this season, so we could obviously get into the Champions League. But it's going to be very, very hard for us to do that. And I did say recently, didn't I, that I felt as though the expectations were too high for Solskjaer Man United. But I said, the expectations he would have to exceed this season was obviously, getting the club into the top 4. But I do believe that top 4 anyway will be our aspirations in the next couple of seasons at least. Because, we're not good enough to win the league at the moment. Our squad's not good enough to win the league at the moment. But, I said it's dependent on, who we can recommend in over the course of the next 2 to 3 windows. If we can get the right calibre players in, then I definitely, think, we can, be future title contenders, but one thing I did say at the start of this season, I did expect us, to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season, because last season there was a huge disappointment. But one thing I did say anyway this season, despite the 3 signings that were recommended in during the summer, I still expected us, not to win the league this season or mount many kind of title challenge up. But, we have got a really, really good squad, because a lot of money anywhere over the last 6 or 7 years especially has been invested. A lot of money's been invested into the squad in the last 6 or 7 years. But, like I've mentioned to you, the players I've recently, been impressed with. I've been very, very impressed with Marcus Rashford. I think he's done really, really well for Man United as Rashford. I know I've criticised him for the vast majority of this season. Regarding on his bad performances, but quite recently, he's rejuvenated himself. He started scoring goals. I think he's scored now 8 goals for club and country in his last 8 games as Rashford. So that just indicates how good he has been recently. But I still said during his bad spell, I still said then that Rashford is a long-term solution for Manchester United. He is only 22 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. He has now scored 54 goals for the football club in all competitions. This is since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016, which is nearly 4 years ago now. But Rashford, so far anywhere, has spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United. He's been a United player overall since the age of 7. But when he's on form, he's got that finishing asset. He can get good runs in behind. But fair play to him. And Anthony Martial, like I mentioned earlier on in the video, and like I've mentioned on numerous occasions, he's done really, really well since he's come back from injury. Obviously, some aspects of Martial, do, replicate Rashford and that. They can both play in the same positions. More or less have scored the same amount of goals. I think Martial's one behind him. He's on 53 now for Man United in all competitions, and he's now into his 5th season with the football club. So far, you can say he's been a long servant. But yeah, and Martial is only the age of 23. Martial, for the vast majority of his Man United tenure so far, has obviously not been operating out wide, because that's where he does primarily play. But he's obviously got given that number 9 shirt at the start of the season, because he does seem to be more effective in that central position. But yeah, a very, very good player. I've also been very, very impressed with Daniel James. He's been absolutely fantastic for the football club since his arrival from Swansea. And I think he's replicating at Man United now what he did do with Swansea last season, because he only made his senior debut for Swansea last season, did Daniel James. Don't get me wrong, I still classify him as a prospect, and he does need time to develop. He is supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side. Obviously we've played him on the left this season a few times. I think quite a lot of times we've played him on the right. There's still some aspects of his game that does need to improve, but he's got electrifying pace. He can get good runs in behind. Maybe his tracking back does need to improve, but he's only 21. He's been a consistent starter this season as Daniel James. I'm sure that he's played around 19 games this season for club and country. He's played about 16 games for Man United, and I'm actually surprised the amount of games that he has played. Obviously, when we got him in, I did expect him obviously to play games, but not as many games to the extent as he has done. I didn't think he would have been first choice in the team when we first recommended him in, but reflecting on his performances, he has deserved it. He has really, really deserved it as Daniel James. He got rested in the game against Partizan Belgrade, obviously, because obviously Solskjaer obviously was concerned about his fatigue at the club, and Solskjaer obviously realised that he had been more playing Daniel James. But fair play to him, like I mentioned. I've also been very, very impressed with Fred. He's stepped up to the plate recently. In regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, I have got an element of concerns about that. He's not a world-class midfielder, and you can say he hasn't really replicated at Man United what he did do with Shakhtar Donetsk, because analysing him at Shakhtar Donetsk, he was actually an exceptional player. But, for me, he still deserves more time at the football club, does Fred. We paid just under £50 million for him last summer, so I will agree on the aspect that we did overpay for him, but I would still give him more time. Solskjaer's obviously relying on him anywhere, because he confirmed that he will be taking Paul Pogba's position for a while. Solskjaer actually praised Fred for his fantastic performance he put out in the 3-1 win against Brighton. Obviously, he had been given the man of the match, but fair play to him. And Fred's enjoying playing under Solskjaer's guidance, because I think Fred admitted that the backing of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is part of his improved form, and he said the trust of the manager is always very, very essential. So fair play to him. I think analysing McTominay this season, he's also done really, really well, as Scott McTominay. He's done really, really well, and I've more or less, got the same perception of McTominay, than what I've got of Fred. I don't know if he's a long-term solution for Man United. Probably comparing McTominay and Fred, I think, they are two different players. Obviously, McTominay is definitely comparison to Fred. Actually, if you want, you could say McTominay is probably a better player than him at Man United, reflect on his good performances this season. I think McTominay has only had one bad game this season that I can remember, and that was the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. But he's done really, really well. He has hit the ground running, scored quite a few goals. But, a fair play to McTominay. As you all know now, he's injured at the moment, by the way. I did recently, give you the news regarding that. Solskjaer did provide us an injury update on McTominay, and he said he could be out for a month with an ankle injury. I think McTominay's had initial scans on his ankle, obviously, to find out the extent of the injury, and I think it's actually, quite, I think it's very severe. This is why he could be out for up to a month. Due to this injury, McTominay had to withdraw from the Scotland squad, and I think it's almost assured, or has been assured, he will miss the games against Man City and Tottenham next month. So that is a huge disappointment. But I've been very, very impressed with him anyway. So quite a lot of players have stepped up to the plate. I think Andres Pereira, there's a couple of games you can pinpoint out this season, where he's done really, really well. Andres Pereira, I think he's had quite a few bad games. I thought his worst game he had was the game against Bournemouth. I thought it was atrocious. He's played regularly this season as Pereira. He has been operating in that playmaker's role. So definitely, again, some aspects of Andres Pereira's game still do need to improve. And Wan-Bissaka has been our most consistent sign, you could say that, and I will agree on that aspect. And he's very, very trustworthy, and I think Wan-Bissaka, can be our fullback for the next decade. And if he continues his good performances up, I think his valuation will persistently grow. So yeah, even though we've enjoyed a bad start to the season, I still think, these players that have played well, don't get me wrong, these obviously, players that have underperformed, and that this is why I still said, there is more that do need to leave the football club. But analysing it, we have got a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. Like I said, I have got some element of concerns about some of the young upcoming players. This is why I said, we need to consider getting rid of a few next year. I think definitely maybe Angel Gomez needs to be loaned out next year. He's recently been out with injury. I give you the news, didn't I, recently regarding Chong. There was reports saying that he has decided now not to renew his contract at Man United. And he's allegedly informed the club that he will be leaving Manchester United at the end of the season. At the end of the season, and that this is what Chong has basically said allegedly. But don't forget, was it a month or two ago now, quite a while back, he said that he had received loan offers from PSV and his former club Feyenoord, but he actually turned them loan offers down because he allegedly said he wanted to remain loyal to Manchester United for this season. But now reportedly he's going to be leaving at the end of the season, according to recent reports that is. Now reportedly the team that are interested in him is Juventus, so reportedly Juventus could get him on a free transfer at the end of the season. But I've got element of concerns about him anyway. I think he's only played on like 4 occasions for Man United. He has played quite a few times this season as Chong. But But yeah, I think he's totally comparison to the likes of Mason Greenwood and Brandon Williams and Alex Tuanzebe, definitely. But I just said I've said it on my recent videos. I can definitely assure that Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, and Alex Tuanzebe will all become successes at the football club, and perhaps even James Garner, without a shadow of a doubt. These question marks regarding Solskjaer on that, why hasn't he, started Mason Greenwood from the start in the Premier League? Because maybe he isn't first choice to start in the Premier League. I think Rashford's obviously Rashford's is our first choice preference over Mason Greenwood and that. But there again, Mason Greenwood is an option on the right. But yeah, I think he will get his start from the start in the Premier League. I think he's made about 8 or 9 substitute appearances this season in the league. But he has come up with a moment of quality, when we need to. He scored in the FC Astana game. He scored in the Rochdale game and that. He scored 3 senior goals for the football club this season. But I think he's got a lot. Solskjaer trusts in him a lot, and that's one of the things anywhere. That's one of the aspects anywhere that I do credit Solskjaer for, because he has got a lot of trustworthy and his young upcoming players, because the vast majority of them have been given their chances this season. The vast majority of them have been given their chances this season, which is very, very good. But I can definitely say to you guys now that well, that's a bit of light there, didn't there? I can say to you now that, Greenwood, will become a success at the club. Solskjaer, obviously, give his overarching view on him. And he said, he's still learning the men's game. He recently, compared him, to Robin van Persie, saying his finishing's, similar to Robin van Persie's, is what, he said. But yeah, he's only 18 years of age. But as he develops, he'll get better. Paul Scholes did say after the Partizan Belgrade game that he believes that Mason Greenwood, as he develops more, he will eventually overcome Rashford and he'll be a better goal scorer than him. Brandon Williams has been superb in the games he's played in, and you can say now that left back has been confirmed, because I've got to say a lot of Man United fans will agree with me that he's a better solution than Luke Shaw now at left back, despite the fact that Luke Shaw is our first choice left back, and also is much better solution than Ashley Young. So yeah, and I did say if Brandon Williams was to play well, he would more first team promotions, and this is what he has exactly done, and he's only age 19. And, with Alex Tuanzebe, I think in the games he's played in this season, he's done fantastically well. Obviously hasn't played for quite a while because Tuanzebe has been out over hip injury. Yeah, and, Diego Dalot, he's also still out with injury. He's sustained quite a few injuries this season, as Diego Dalot. But I do believe, when he gets back into the team, that he'll get more chances. I think it's, I'm not too sure, when Diego Dalot is going to be back in contention. But, we've got a lot of injuries still, and I said, reflecting on the amount of injuries we've had this season anyway, Solskjaer has had to make alterations in the squad. We do know that McTominay will be playing for quite some time. Like I said, Paul Pogba, I gave you the news, didn't I, regarding Paul Pogba? I think it was early on this week. I gave you the news. Obviously, his ankle cast has been removed, so that indicates out now he's close to recovering from injury. He travelled to Amsterdam, by the way, to have his ankle cast removed. But yeah, he's missed the vast majority of the games this season due to the injury. The last game he played in the league, was the 1-1 draw with Arsenal. We do know that the difference, Paul Pogba does make in that midfield, to be quite honest with you. Paul Pogba now is into his 4th season as a Man United player, and analysing that vast majority of that 4 years, he has been very inconsistent in comparison to his time, when he was in Turin, because he did have 4 good years in Turin with Juventus, but mainly hasn't replicated this at Manchester United. We mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. But, you could still arguably say he's one of the best midfielders in the world. I think he could still leave the football club next year, Paul Pogba. He could leave in January. If he doesn't leave in January, he will leave next summer, I should presume. Because for the entirety of the summer, he wanted to leave Man United, and obviously he was relentlessly, linked to move to Real Madrid. There was also talks about him possibly making a return back to Turin. I think he allegedly said that Barcelona also inquired about his services. But I think he's definitely during the summer his first choice preference was a move to Real Madrid. But actually, I think from my perception, I think his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise, obviously due to the substantial amount, we wanted for him, because, we were demanding, we were adamant he wasn't for sale, but we was demanding around 180 million, and Real Madrid, were reluctant to meet that. And Real Madrid during the summer spent around £300 million anywhere on 5 players. But Real Madrid probably more than likely will reignite their interest next year in Pogba. But regardless of whether Paul Pogba stays or goes, we still need to, add depth in that midfield anywhere. But if Paul Pogba wants to stay, that still, would be more beneficial for us. But some people will believe that he's overrated, and, we seem to have looked better without him. But, we overpaid for him, definitely. We paid £89 million for him. Obviously, he is our most expensive signing at the football club at the moment. And Pogba's still got, 2 years left in his current contract at Man United, with an option, to extend it by a further year. Yeah. So Solskjaer did confirm anyway that Paul Pogba is not expected back until December. But there was a report, I think he said himself, Solskjaer, that there was a slight chance, he could be back for the Sheffield United game after the international break. But it is very, very unlikely, to be quite honest with you. But I think, more players anywhere are expected to be back from injury after the international break. I think Solskjaer did say that Matic, Luke Shaw and Tuanzebe should be back after the international break, and that. Bay's still out with injury until the end of the year. He's got a knee injury. I think Fossil Mensu's still out, but he's closer to returning to the squad. But yeah, so we have still got quite a lot of injuries. But for the vast majority of the season anyway, we have been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation, and we do know for the vast majority of the season anyway that 4-2-3-1 formation hasn't been working. But he's tried a few different elements of Solskjaer, to try and turn things around at the club. Obviously, tried playing more the youngsters, which he's done. He's tried, different formations. Obviously, he's quite a few times this season. He has gone with 3 at the back. But yeah, but recently now, I've got to be honest, we have really, really improved, which is very, very very, very beneficial. Where there. Which is very, very beneficial, as you all currently know. But yeah, so there's still a lot of Man United fans, that still obviously want Solskjaer out, even though we have recently rejuvenated them ourselves. There'll be some Man United fans saying, we should still give him obviously more time at the football club, give him at least a couple more windows, to see who else he can recommend into the squad. Because you can still quite frankly say anywhere that Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Because like I said, there's only 3 players anywhere that are Mulligan and Solskjaer's. Like I said, the vast majority of his team, is actually Jose Mourinho's. But Solskjaer has got a 3-year contract with the football club. He's got a 3-year contract with the football club. He got given this 3-year contract when he had been given the job in March earlier on this year. And I'm very, very sceptical about him seeing out his 3-year contract. I don't think he will see out his 3-year contract, but I can assure he will be here in January, and probably he will be still here at the end of the season, because I think the club are willing to give him more time, because I don't think he's under that much pressure now as he was before the Liverpool game, because before the Liverpool game he was under so much intense pressure, and I said I think the Liverpool game and the Norwich game, they're the games that you could arguably say that they saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. And if we was to sack Solskjaer anyway, in the future, either way, it is going to cost the club probably a substantial amount, to get rid of him. We probably won't have to pay as much, as we did do, to get rid of Jose Mourinho, but we still have to obviously, pay something in compensation, to get rid of Solskjaer. But he's only been here overall anywhere for 11 months. He's been here overall for just under a year, but he has been permanent manager now for around 8 months as Solskjaer. Obviously, for the vast majority of that 8 months, it's been very, very poor. Obviously, comparison to what I saw when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period. But I can see, why we recommended Solskjaer in anywhere after, the dismissal of Jose Mourinho in December of last year. Is because, we saw it as, Solskjaer was a cheap solution because we didn't really pay that much to get him in anywhere. Also, he knows the traditions and that in the football club, and obviously he's a club legend. And I did put that into the equation as well. I think, with him being a club legend, I think in that aspect, the board have softened their stance. But disregarding him being a club legend and that, and, maybe, he would have been sacked by now, so maybe he wouldn't have got to this current point. But like I said, there's some aspects of me that credit him. I've obviously, got some element of concerns about Solskjaer. And I thought, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. There's no doubt about that. He was a great player for the football club for 11 years and that. And, but obviously, as a manager, his comparison to as he was as a player, because, he hasn't really got that managerial experience as Solskjaer, and that's an element of concern. But it still doesn't mean it isn't going to work out for him at Manchester United, Solskjaer obviously wants to bring that winning mentality and that fear factor back to the football club, because we know none of that's been there since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, we do know that. But we haven't really got the structure to keep. We haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers anywhere. Solskjaer's our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. But we just haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers and that. But yeah, Man United will definitely stick with Solskjaer for now. So I just wanted to do this video to tell you of who our transfer targets are. Obviously, I've given you the list of players that are linked with moves to Manchester United. But, we'll see what happens. But, if we can keep this good run of form up, until the new year, and even, until the end of the season, then my perceptions, will start changing, regarding Solskjaer. Then I will feel as though he's the right man, to take Manchester United forward. But the positives are that, we've rejuvenated ourselves recently. The performances have been better. Plus, winning to the knockout stages of the Europa League with still 2 games to spare. I did say I think that's our only route to Champions League football, is progressing in the Europa League. Don't forget we won the Europa League a couple of years ago under the Jose Mourinho era. And also too, we are into the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. So that's also a positive. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.